You don't even need a permit for that. You need to be able to prove when you buy a gun.
Ma'am, that is incredibly wrong.
Okay, you're done.
You need to... Oh. Excuse you.
Yeah, take her away.
Please don't tell a black man what to do.
Please take her away. I'd like to be left alone.
You can get this shirt at lhmerch.com. Look at you, acting exactly like what I just proved.
I am not.
And then you just tell a black man what to do like that? Is this not? Yeah. That's insane. You literally just proved my shirt. I cannot believe the rhetoric and the violence and the advocacy for violence and murder towards their political opponents.
Just one thing. Whenever there has been a vote to lessen guns in this country, has it ever happened?
Lessen guns?
Lessen the accessibility of guns.
Yeah, there's 37,000 gun laws on the book right now.
Right. Has there ever been taken off?
Yes, actually the ATF director just came in and got rid of 37 laws against guns.
What
yeah.
are those?
Huh?
What are they?
Some of them pertain to bump stock bans. Some of them can pertain to bumper systems and stuff like that.
How about just not allowing automatic weapons?
We don't allow automatic weapons in the country, ma'am.
But we do.
Where? What permit do you have to have for that, ma'am?
Ironically, you can get a permit, a concealed carry.
You said automatic. What is an automatic weapon, ma'am?
More than one bullet at a time.
This is insane. Okay, so people who know nothing about firearms trying to write legislation on firearms, it's just funny. Automatic weapons are banned in the United States. Semi-automatics are, I think, allowed, but up to an extent, and that's where the bump stock conversation comes in.
Right, and so what permit do you have to have for that?
You don't even need a permit for that. You need to be able to prove when you buy a gun.
Ma'am, that is incredibly wrong.
Hey, Gordon.
Okay,
Good to see you.
Walk.
Excuse you.
Walk. I'm on vacation. Yeah, take her away.
Please don't tell a black man what to do.
It's typical when a leftist is losing an argument, they resort to violence.
Please take her away. I'd like to be left alone.
You can get this shirt at lhmerch.com. Look at you, acting exactly like what I just proved.
I am not.
Anyone who wins an argument, and then you just tell a black man what to do like that? Is this not? Yeah. That's insane. You literally just proved my shirt.
Yeah, I think you need to go.
Yeah, just so you know, automatic weapons are very restricted in this country, and you need a very special permit to get one.
You're wrong.
Prove me wrong.
I don't have to. Every single day there's a shooting, and every single day...
Who's committing the shooting?
All kinds of people.
No, there's a certain demographic committing all the shootings.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, they're mostly committed with handguns. Did you know that?
Is it
handguns? I'm sorry?
Men or women?
It's men, black men, and gang violence.
Really?
Yes.
I remember an awful lot of white men who have had the cheese slip off their cracker and say, I can't have minorities. I can't be less than my rich white self.
If you have any proof for how you can just obtain an automatic weapon, I would love that, because I would love to have an automatic weapon.
Honey, you're asking me. I was just sitting here having a nice day.
All right. Well, you fit the definition, so.
Liberal white women. Okay. So it's painful to watch, but we have to put ourselves through it. Okay. Now, guys, we're here to talk about the shooting that happened yesterday at the White House. So let's jump right into the story and keep your comments coming. It's good to see you back in the chat, gardening. Great to see you. Let's go.
This is what always happens when we have something like this. I always start to check in on the security situation at the White House, but this is what happened around 6 o'clock this evening. I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off. and they apparently took the gunman down. Now, sometime in this gunfire exchange, a civilian on the street was struck by this gunfire, and we do not know the condition of that person right now. But the important thing to know is that the gunman who came up with the pistol and was taken down by the Secret Service, and we don't know his condition right now, but he never got inside the perimeter of the White House. And this is according to a senior administration official with direct knowledge of what went down at the White House this afternoon. This was right around 6 o'clock Eastern time.
So this happened during my day off. Saturday evenings are essentially my day off, my time of rest, which I usually spend doing all kinds of chores around the house and spending time with the family. So that's good. But I saw this report. I was sorely tempted to go online, but I had to stick with my day of rest. And again, we see a violent attack towards the sitting president of the United States, who happens to be, surprise, surprise, President Trump. And this is essentially, let's call it the second shooting around the vicinity of the White House in about 2 weeks. And everybody is, look, violence against President Trump and his cabinet has been so normalized that this right now is like a Tuesday.
So, Chad, so if I'm hearing what you said correctly, this was somebody who was just firing in the direction of the White House?
It was something that the Secret Service obviously perceived as a threat. Obviously, we're told that gunfire apparently was directed toward the White House. If you get toward the left side of the White House...
Of course it's a threat. Someone fires a gun up. Look, if someone stands in front of my home and fires off a weapon, I will perceive it as a threat. Okay? That is common sense.
We're trying to figure out precisely where this was. You have the old executive office building, now called the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, which is kind of a big complex if you're working from west to east toward the White House. So we know that he was firing in the direction of the White House, and this is the preliminary report from someone who's very senior and would have direct knowledge of this information. Again, a lot of people in town. There was one source that had, questioned me earlier, even before we had this information. There's a lot of motorcyclists in town for the Memorial Day events. They always come for this time, and people thought it might have been, motorcycles backfiring or something like that. There's quite a cacophony of that. But this is clearly someone who came up and was firing at the direction of the White House.
So someone says, like he just said, hey, now this was a report happening as the story was developing. So there were a lot of things there were a lot of unknowns. And we're going to play a video later that shows how people who don't know anything about firearms react when firearms are going off. Because on this show, I've talked many times about how many people who have nothing to do or who don't know anything about firearms, like the lady who was featured in the first video that we played, who essentially thinks that automatic weapons are allowed in the United States. There are a lot of people on the left who have never seen a gun or handled a gun. Their closest relationship to a gun is in the movies or on TV shows. Okay, so when they hear anything that's akin to a bang, they don't know what it is. And we're going to see a reporter who essentially shows what a large portion of the leftist voters are like whenever they come in contact with firearms or gunfire. So we're going to look into that later in the show. Now, an update to this report came in, and it turns out, and here's an update on the shooter.
Twice last year and had a history of mental health issues. Court records state Best was charged in July with trying to enter a restricted area near the White House. Authorities say Best told them he was Jesus Christ.
Okay. Mentally unwell person holding a firearm, strolling up to the vicinity of the White House and firing off his weapon in the general vicinity, and he claims that he's Jesus Christ. But the part of the story that is very mind-boggling is the fact that he had tried this before. and he was essentially incarcerated briefly and then let out again, and he goes back to repeat it. So he already tried to get close and does it again. Exactly. Like, what's going on with mental institutions? Of course, they were emptied out, and that's why we're having most of the crazies, doing stuff like this. And we're going to see some of those crazy people who reacted after the news broke of this shooting, because many of them currently vote. Okay, so we're going to see the reactions of leftists when this news broke.
And that he wanted to get arrested. Best was also reportedly detained by Secret Service the previous month for flagging down agents and making threats. The president saying in part on Truth Social.
So he did the same thing, or not the same thing, but he essentially issued threats to federal agents. Okay.
Thank you to our great Secret Service and law enforcement for the swift and professional action taken this evening against a gunman near the White House who had a violent history and possible obsession with our country's most cherished structure. The president was at the White House when the shooting happened, but he was not affected as the suspect never got into the perimeter. In fact, the president stayed at the White House throughout the evening as he tries to secure a deal with Iran.
Trump is just built differently. He is built differently. A lot of people would have just taken the night off. Okay, he is built differently.
The incident happened around 6 p.m. local time. Many reporters heard the shots, sending them hitting the ground for cover. They ran to the briefing room as the White House was placed on lockdown for nearly an hour.
Wonder if they said, here you go, take your gun back and have that. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they did. I would not be surprised.
Secret Service spokesperson says the suspect came to the checkpoint near 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. And per their preliminary investigation, they say as the man walked up, he took a gun from his bag and began firing at officers. Agents shot back and hit the gunman, who later died at a local hospital. The Secret Service says a bystander was shot during the incident as well, but it's unclear whether they were initially hit by the suspect or during the crossfire. Charlie, Rachel.
It's crazy. I hope the bystander recovers. I mean, there's always collateral damage when insane people go out there and do these things. And the really upsetting thing that I keep running into is the fact that while all of this is playing out, it's just like what happened with the last government shutdown. The shutdown happens, the Democrats instigate a shutdown, then they try to call it a Trump shutdown, and then they create this chaos at airports and all over the place, and they try to make it seem like, we're showing you that Trump is bad by causing all of these problems. Now, in the middle of all of this, the Democrats are still holding back funding or trying to hold up votes for funding the Secret Service. Guys, now remember, there's been an attempt late April during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. There's one that happened in the vicinity just after J.D. Vance's convoy or motorcade had driven past. Another shooting a couple of weeks back. And then now there's a third one, and Democrats don't want to fund the Secret Service. Guys, you and I can count, okay? Let me know in the chat what this looks like, okay? I'm just going to read the chat. I don't want to say it, but tell me. Now, let's listen to this report.
Enforcement shot a gunman who tried to enter Mar-a-Lago, and like the shooter last night, that shooter there was 21 years old as well. Molly.
Alex Hogan squeezing in a lot of details for us. Thank you very much. We will have more on Iran a little later in this hour. Right now, we are continuing with the investigation into the shooting outside of the White House. It comes as lawmakers continue to grapple with funding for the U.S. Secret Service. Fox News contributor Nicole Parker joins me now. Nicole, thank you so much.
Has there ever been a sitting president who had an issue where Congress, led by the opposition, actively withheld funding from the government's protection detail? Sorry, the president's protection detail. Someone let me know in the chat.
for being with us here on this Memorial Day weekend. Greatly appreciate it. I just want to get your early insight. Here we are. We have yet another very scary situation very close to the president, who's faced so many attempts on his life already in recent years. Your thoughts on how this played out right there at that White House gate?
Well, I have to give it to the Secret Service. They were right there and they did not mess around. And that's what you can expect. If you think that you're going to get near the White House, cause violence, pull out a revolver, start firing, you can expect that you will get killed. Deadly force is absolutely authorized. And that is exactly what happened in this. The stream of political violence that's happening in our country, it's unthinkable to me. I know that, even several years ago, this would have been shocking. But it's one thing after another in our country, and we cannot continue to see this string. And what I've noticed is that out of the 3 assassination attempts that are very clearly identified, and there's this individual who got very near the White House, I've noticed that all of them tend to happen on Saturdays or Sundays. I'm not sure what that pattern is, but it is a very clear message to law enforcement, to Secret Service, and to all Americans. You can never, ever let your guard down, because these individuals, they don't rest on the weekends. They are evil. When they want to carry out an action, they do. I understand that this individual had mental health issues, violated a court order to stay away from the White House, but did it anyway. And again, lost his life. You cannot ever pull out a revolver, pull out any weapon, or get anywhere near that vicinity and not expect a very severe consequence, even losing your life.
I do want to ask you, because politics always plays a role when it comes to funding, and right now Republicans are having some challenges getting it together as far as funding the immigration bill, because there's been an ask for the ballroom money. Now, perhaps there's a little confusion here, because President Trump had originally said, this is going to be paid for privately, no one has to worry about it. But when it comes to security, there's been an ask related to that, particularly in the wake of all of the things we've seen. Your thoughts on that essentially kind of being a spike in the wheel as they move forward with this type of important funding?
What I do know.
All right, so the report essentially ends there. Now, guys, in the chat, Gardening says it's totally disgusting what they're doing. So they don't want President Trump protected. Look, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. People who try to play run interference. Now, I heard something in this report, so I want to be fair. Okay, I try to be fair. I don't want to be an alarmist. I don't want to kind of gin up hateful sentiments. I want to try to be fair. The funding I think they are referring to happens to be tied to the ballroom that is being constructed, because from what I assume, this is an assumption, okay, the funding for the building itself has been paid for. Security installations, I think, are part of what has to go through Congress, because I don't think, again, if you're in the chat and you know anything about this, let me know. I don't think it is proper for donors to actively give towards anything that has to do with weaponry or heavy duty defense and so on. I don't think so. Maybe that's what I'm picking up. Okay, so we don't go overboard with the Democrats are trying to actually strip President Trump of all of the protection. But the news coverage is essentially saying this funding will affect the Secret Service funding. So I don't know if there's crossed signals happening, but with all of that being said, the Democrats are not looking good. They said that they didn't want him to build the ballroom because he was essentially engaging in corruption, because there were donors. He did not require government funding for the building. The donations came in fully funded. Now we're hearing that there needs to be approval for certain aspects of security for the ballroom. The Democrats are holding it back because anything that Trump does, they will oppose, which, as far as I'm concerned, is childish and it is stupid. But it's politics. They're trying to appear to be hardline against the sitting president. Else, the radical, insane voters of the Democrat Party will essentially kick them out. So Chuck Schumer and the rest of them are running scared of the new radical base that they have cultivated. Gardening says that funding, I believe, is supposed to go through Congress. Yes, that's for the funding for the ballroom had already been, like, we were told that there were donors who had covered the construction of the ballroom, and I assume that the security installations have to be approved by Congress, because I think it is essentially a part of defense. I think there are things that you just can't get donors to do for you, else donors would be raising private armies, okay, on behalf of the president. I mean, it could look really bad if donors got together to say, hey, President Trump, we're going to pay for all of your security, arm the army, okay, buy weapons for the army. I mean, it's going to look really weird. So I think there are safeguards to keep that from happening, and that's why anything that has to do with payment for weapons or defense has to go through Congress, because you can't have billionaires or trillionaires funding anything that has to do with military armaments or gadgets. That's what I think. So, but anyone who knows any better, let me know in the chat. All right. Now, while all of this insanity was going on, Congress is preventing the president from essentially getting funding for the Secret Service ballroom. Let's remember what the Democrats have been saying for years, and then we're going to see how their voters have responded based on this attack on the president, because they keep saying, hey, look, all the violent rhetoric, all the hateful stuff comes from the right. Okay, and I've put down this challenge for weeks now. I said, if you have a compilation of videos of top leadership of the Republican Party saying even half of what these people I'm about to show you have said over the years, okay, show it to me. I'm yet to have anyone take me up on that offer. Let's watch this, and then we're going to watch the reaction of Democrat voters to the reports of another attempt on the president's White House.
Let's extinguish him for good.
I will go and take Trump out tonight. We're going to fight it in the courts, and we're going to fight it in the streets.
When they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
We're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of them.
Now punch back, kick back, dunk over their heads, and win some fucking power.
Fight back, punch back, and make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching.
We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
We are not only gonna punch you back, but we are gonna knock you out.
We're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
Well, I am here to tell you, not only are we gonna punch back, but we about to beat you down.
And goddamn it, shut down the city! We are at war!
When they go low, we kick them.
Even in states where Donald Trump won big, that it does you any good running away from Donald Trump. I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
2020, now they're much more, but 20 times top Democrat leadership uses this kind of rhetoric. 20. And there are 20 different individuals, and they talk like this regularly. You see it all over the internet. They talk like this regularly. So here's the reaction of Democrat voters. And sadly, they're the usual demographic, white liberal women. Here's how they reacted to another attempt at the sitting president's life.
You're telling me there were fucking shots at the White House while Donald Trump was there and they missed again? What the fuck? Get it right, guys. Come on.
That is one. Now, look, we're way past this this narrative of, oh, it's both sides. It's always the same side.
Yeah, they're saying there was like 30 gunshots fired outside the White House. Please.
She's crossing her fingers and hoping. And the caption says, please be good news.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Well, and then they always say it's both sides. It's both sides. Both sides do it. No, we have copious evidence that it's one side.
Round them all up. Put them in a big room that kind of looks like it could be a gas chamber. Don't actually do anything to them. Like, they'll be fine. Don't gas chamber them. But just put them in a room and tell them that's what you're going to fucking do to them. Watch them all cry like the little baby back bitches that they actually are on their insides and probably piss and shit their goddamn pants. Oh yeah? Is that funny? I had one of you as a little brother. I know exactly how you got the way you are. And it's because your daddy was exactly the same fucking way. You're not even your own fucking person. You're just a compilation of all the hatred that your father handed down to you, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah. She's a ray of sunshine. I'm sure she's pleasant to be around during Thanksgiving dinner. That is the left, guys. That is the left. And guys, I've told you before, I have family that vote Democrat. And I'm like, guys, what are you doing? But you know what? They think that they're on the right side of history. So it's fine. They vote Democrat. It's okay. But if you can look me in the eye and say that the Democrat Party isn't currently appealing to insane, unhinged people who are so filled with hate towards anyone who doesn't vote the same way they do, and they lie a lot. They lie. They lie, they believe lies, and they lie. And when you catch them out on the lies, there's no self-reflection that says, oh, I was wrong. No, it's like, how dare you catch me in the lie? It's almost that way. Gardening says, because the Democrats always got away with it, so it has become normalized. That is true. They are on social media so much, and their algorithm is always showing this. Some do it just to be cool or clicks and likes. Look, being online the way I am and doing content, I know the temptation of doing things that are edgy just to get the views. I've watched my algorithm on YouTube while I do the live streams. And one of the things that bothers me while I live stream is the fact that the software I use has the view count right in front of me. And I can see when I raise, like if I raise my voice and begin to scream or rant or react passionately to something, the view count starts to spike. But when I'm calm and I'm trying to be analytical and rational and reason, it begins to dip. And months ago, I asked myself, all right, do I succumb to the algorithm and be edgy and rant and shout so that I can get more views? Because I'm looking at the screen and I can see the view count spike whenever something starts going on and I'm raising my voice and I'm getting animated. Guys, this thing is real. So gardening, you're right. But you know what? Not everyone has the discipline and self-awareness to know what's going on. The algorithm is manipulating you, trying to get you to be something it's not. YouTube will reward me if I get edgy enough to get a bunch of people who are terminally online or chronically online to watch my content. So as long as I'm edgy, as long as I'm no, that's not why I rant. That's not why I rant. Gardening, that's not why I rant. I genuinely rant. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes I have to take a breath. And it's because I am genuinely upset. And I am on the edge of saying something unkind. So I have to hold back regularly. Just checking. I know I have to hold back regularly. And you know what? Right now it's 11:38 p.m. over here. My kids are in bed. My daughter is literally next door. She's in the next room. My two sons are adjacent. So if I begin to rant and scream, I'm gonna wake up the kids. So I have to contain myself. But apart from that, even when I don't have to, I'm trying to cultivate a healthy audience. I want a healthy audience who want to have a conversation, who want to think straight. Okay. I want people who are sane. And so when you're on social media and you're doing all of this stuff and the algorithm is rewarding you with clicks, with views, and you're seeing all of the likes climb, that dopamine rush is insane. When I'm on the live stream and the views are like really good, that dopamine rush is addictive. When I come on another live stream and it's not as good as the previous one, I know how it feels. And the temptation to be edgy, to try and repeat the same thing that happened before, it's always there. It's always there. So I get that some of them are kind of slaves to the algorithm, but at what cost? At what cost? At the cost of your soul? At the cost of infecting people out there with crazy ideas that will cause them to harm themselves and others? I know that, look, I don't have as big a microphone, figuratively, as a lot of other people out there who get thousands of people on their live streams regularly. I know that someday it's going to happen, and I'm going to be responsible for talking to a lot of people. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't become something else by the time I get there. Just to get there, I mean, sell my soul and begin to sell outrage, because in this business, outrage sells. Outrage sells. It's all about being edgy. So let me get off my soapbox. but essentially, I do understand that a lot of them are slaves to the algorithm. Now, we're going to take a quick detour, just something funny, but it wasn't funny for these guys. Now, these are three reporters, okay? I saw this morning, and I thought it was funny. And we're going to talk briefly about it before we skip over to the next segment. Now, here are these guys. Like, literally, like, the shots are happening. Two of the reporters kind of, they duck. One of them runs under a table or something. And the other, this lady in the middle, is standing around. I'm going to show you, well, I'm going to play this one more time.
What is that?
Okay, I'm going to play. Let me play. I think I have. No, she didn't grow up in Chicago. She didn't. I'm going to play the full, how long is it? I'm going to play this, and this is her. She's just standing around.
What is that?
Sounds like and she's looking.
Today, but this obviously comes just a couple of weeks after a shooting at the White House correspondence.
she was clueless. I've said it several times. I said, look, people on the left who don't even know what an automatic firearm and a semi-automatic is, or even looks like, or even sounds like, are trying to litigate gun control laws or gun laws. And I've said again that people on the left aren't prepared for the fight that they're trying to have with people on the right. Okay, she literally standing around and sticking her head out while bullets are flying. It's insane. Well, the internet right now has a new meme, and she is the subject of that meme. I could have picked up some of them to play for you, but nah, I'm not going to waste it. It's all out there, and you're going to be running into the memes because she is totally clueless. Totally clueless. What is that? So she's unintentionally become the face of the clueless left. All right. She's become the face of the clueless left. Now, there's this Democrat voter who ran her mother over after an argument. I don't know if the argument was about who they voted for or who they support or some other insane thing that they fight everyone else about, but she ran her mom over and the police came over to deal with the situation. And here's a video, and it's just for a few minutes, but this is the final segment, and I just wanted us to watch this because it's crazy that people like this vote. So she's run her mom over. Someone called the police. She's still in the car. Her mom is basically pinned to the wall, and the police had to come over to try and get her to back up. But here's what happens next. She takes off.
Get out of here, 7562, it's black actor, headed towards Hilton. Very 16, have EMS respond in now. Ma'am?
So her mom is out cold. Okay, all right. She can't move.
Can't move. Okay, stay with me, okay? Bobby, she was pinned against the wall. Okay, if you gotta throw up, you're fine. I got you. You got her? Yep, got her.
She's in a vehicle. See if State's got anybody in route. 17, I'm in route. I'm checking northbound. 17, she's in me at Branch O'Gideon Weber. Branch O'Gideon Weber. 17 affirmative. We're northbound.
The door is hanging out.
Approximately 40 miles an hour. Her car door is still hanging open, not acknowledging lights or sirens.
Okay, any unit with the patient? 16. EMS is with her now. On that non-condition.
Ooh, the tire got. She lost the tire.
17, she's riding on her front right rim.
7362, correct, 7362. That's not a good tag, you can go.
6 Mary 17, coming up on board, speeds of 40.
Approaching Ward, speeds of 40, that's not a good tag. Keeps coming back, not file.
This is crazy.
6 Mary 17, she's ramping on to 275. Northbound speeds increasing to 60. 6 Mary 17, she's about to lose control.
Oh boy.
6 Mary 17, 53 over 4, speeds of 55 miles an hour. 6 Mary 17, just crossed over into Hampton County.
This is crazy. Ooh! Oh, she's about to run. She's running. She got tased.
6 Mary 17, taser deployed. Taser deployed.
Ouch.
Get on your back. Get on your back. Got it.
Ouch.
You're good. Okay, come on.
Please, I want to go back there.
What? Is she high?
I'm gonna pull this out. 1, 2, 3. Pull this out. 1, 2, 3. You got another one. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Just put her on ours because we'll take her.
What? She wants to go back to Earth.
Don't let it out. Hey, there's a dog in there too.
A dog?
Oh man.
The 78, can you try and contact animal control to retain on this vehicle?
Miranda. Please, I want to go back to Earth. No, I'm serious. Please. No, please, I want
Is
to
she
go back
high?
to Earth.
Like these people are just okay. So, why did I call her a Democrat voter? I guarantee you, if you check her voting records, she votes blue. I guarantee you. Are there crazy people on the right who vote Republican? Yes, there are. There are some crazy people who vote Republican, but when you check online, the overwhelming evidence points to the fact that more of the people who are not mentally stable vote blue. It's crazy. You get into an argument with your mom, and then your solution is to pin her to the wall with your car. That's crazy. Anyway, this is the beginning of the week for me. We had a weekend, time to rest, and we we got the shooting around the vicinity of the White House. Of course, the shooter didn't make it. We have one person who is who was shot. I hope they recover quickly. There's so much going on that is normalizing all of this insanity. And I don't know, guys. What do we do to turn things around? I don't know if we can really turn things around in the sense of going back to the way things used to be. Maybe we get a different version of the way things should be, which is a different version of the way things used to be, which is put the insane people in institutions, fund those institutions. If anyone commits a violent crime that ends in a life being taken, capital punishment has to be on the table as a deterrent to anyone else out there who thinks that they are the main character and that they are a Bond villain who gets to commit crimes and comes back in the next episode after murdering millions of people. They just get away with it and get to show up again to commit more crimes. It's crazy, but that's the world that we live in today. Gardening, good to have you back in the chat. All of the stuff that's going on, like I see this stuff in my feed, and it's like sometimes I don't want to talk about them, but we have to, because when you listen to Democrat politicians speak, it's almost like they're living in a different dimension, like they're living in a parallel dimension that is totally detached from normalcy. You heard the lady that basically said that all the violent crime happens because of, no, it's not white people. It is leftists who don't want accountability, who want to take away guns so that the government is the overwhelming what's the word? They hold the monopoly on violence. And the reason why the Second Amendment is so beautiful. I think the reason why America is great is the Second Amendment. You did have a nice time. Yeah. Look, I was glad you had that opportunity to hang out with your daughter. I like when you told me that the second time, I was like, wow, look, have that moment because she's about to get married, and also it was I was glad to hear that. Now I'm gonna just you know again glaze or praise the United States. Okay. I am not a citizen of the United States. In fact, someone gave me the honorary title of bootlicker on a comment on one of our live streams. They left a comment and called me a bootlicker, and I smiled and I said, "Yum, I will lick the boot if it means that I'm telling the truth." Because when they find someone who is a person of color, an immigrant, who is pro common sense policies, they want to shame you into silence by calling you a bootlicker, someone who essentially wants the approval of white people, so they side with whatever the white man does. And look, I'm not a child. This isn't elementary school. I can see where the world is going. I can see the policies that are destroying the West. And I don't want my children to grow up in a living hell simply because I was too cowardly to tell the truth. And so I've decided that whenever anyone leaves a comment that is racially, that is race coded, trying to get me to shrink back into my shell and not say anything, I will essentially respond with sarcasm and let them know that they are being racist. So again, the reason why I think the United States has become the greatest country in the world, one of the reasons, and I'm speaking civics and law, apart from the Constitution. Well, no, it is the Constitution. But the thing that makes it stand out is the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. It's a beautiful thing because you have. I was speaking with Patricia. I don't know if Patricia is watching. I was speaking with Patricia after the live stream on Friday, and I said to her, or she said to me that there was a record that stated that the United States has more guns than there are people. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, there's more guns than people. And I was like, that's cool. Because you don't want to live in a country where the government can randomly simply exert violence against you and you not be able to push back. I've seen it happen in Nigeria again and again and again. Other countries experience the same thing. The people can't defend themselves. When I was covering the murder of Christians in northern Nigeria last year, a friend of mine was asking me why it is that Christians can't defend themselves. Don't they have guns? I said, no, the government took away everyone's guns in the 70s. And so who now holds the guns? The government and criminals. And innocent civilians are caught in the crossfire. You can't protect your First Amendment right if you can't push back with violence. If a tyrannical government is trying to shut you down, you can't do that. You can't maintain freedom if you don't have the means to defend your freedom. It's a controversial topic. I have people in my family who don't understand the Second Amendment. And no matter how hard I try to explain it, they don't understand it. It's like people in Europe trying to understand why Americans need so many guns. They don't understand freedom. People in Europe, people in Africa, and other parts of the world that don't have the Second Amendment do not understand the concept of freedom. And so that's my boot licking to open up a glorious week. So for those that are going to accuse me of being a bootlicker, I've given you more ammunition. Let me have it. Okay? But I'm simply telling you the truth. You've never lived outside of the United States. You don't know what it's like to be a citizen who has no means to protect themselves. There is no constitution that protects my rights. Americans go to other countries and they're trying to say, hey, I have rights. No, you don't. The only reason why they don't treat you like every other citizen and throw you in jail and toss the key is because your government cares about you. If anything happens to a person from Nigeria, the Nigerian government clearly treats it like an inconvenience that they have to address it. They don't care. They don't care. Nobody will fly to North Korea to try to make sure that a Nigerian citizen who is being persecuted or imprisoned there is okay. No one cares. Americans who hate their country don't know how good they've got it. And that, I'm telling you, breaks my heart, because they don't know what they've got. And people who don't respect what they have tend to abuse it, and eventually they throw it away. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out today. Gardening, thank you for hanging out in the chat. It was a pleasure to have you back after that period of hiatus. Everyone else who's watched and lurked in the background, well, thank you for watching. We're going to work towards having the live streams earlier. I'm hoping to go back to the 9 p.m. Eastern time slot that we had earlier. I moved the time slot because I needed to be able to do this without being distracted, by kids. And my youngest keeps walking into the live streams trying to get me to take care of him. In fact, before I went live, he literally he walked in and I had to carry him until he fell asleep, and I put him down just before I went live. So I'm going to try to work towards going live earlier, because I do know that I'm losing a bunch of the regular viewers who are on the East Coast, but because it's so late, they miss out on the live stream. So I'm going to try to make it earlier, just so we can have more people connect with the live stream. All right, guys. That's just a heads up that I'm working on that. All right, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great week ahead. We're going to be back tomorrow night, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm praying for you guys. And again, I haven't done this in a while. I don't know if this is late, but if you want to reach out, if you need prayer for something, if you want to share a story, send your ideas, connect with us at the email address on the screen, crossroadsirl.com. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.